smartest thing in the world to do. Midway station. I did just learn something interesting there. I was passing a couple of four-wheelers. I had two of them in a row. The first one, looking at my mirrors as I'm trying to work my way back over to the right, I can see a car in my flat mirror. I can see a car in my convex mirror. I almost made a mistake of thinking that the what car I saw in each of those mirrors was one and the same car that I was passing, but it turned out the car that was in my convex mirror was not the same car that I was seeing in my flat mirror. So basically I was seeing the car in my flat mirror that was behind the first car, and the car that was in my convex mirror was the first car that I was the front car that I was passing. And I almost made the mistake of merging into them, but thankfully I realized that there really were two cars there, and delayed coming over until I knew I was clear of both of them. One of those reminders that sometimes we're prone to not paying good enough attention to what's going on around us, and we really should have noticed that earlier before it happened. But it also is a case where if you're not looking long enough in your mirror, there's a good chance you might see one thing but completely miss other details. We're just 2 miles away from reaching Alabama from the Florida Panhandle. Was hoping to get my trailer washed out here in Milton, not Pennsylvania, but Florida. But it turned out the place closes at 4 p.m. and it was already coming up on 5 by the time I got in the area. So I'll just continue driving to Slidell. Finish my shift there, I think. I mean, I could run all the way to the shipper, but it does me no good. I mean, I might just have to fight for a place to park, whatever. But just soon, bed down early, have a better chance of finding a place to park, and then get back on the road earlier in the day, and then go get my my washout and load tomorrow morning. Just entering Alabama now. Remember, I think it's like 60 something miles, if I remember right, across. Slidell is just a few miles away from, a few miles west of the Alabama border on the other side. Alright, 66, so just over a mile away. It's currently 5:30 p.m. 17:30, so should end up getting into Slidell right around, because I don't know, maybe with the weather, say between 6:30 and 6:45. Up on me, Autumn, right here, are you? Fucking these assholes like you. Through downtown Mobile. Let's see. I think I've changed my mind. I'm not going to actually go to Slidell. I'm going to go ahead and take U.S. highways up and over to the Hazelhurst area. This is where my pickup will be. I think I'll have a better chance of getting closer and not having as much difficulty finding a place to shut down too, possibly, if I go that way. I really should have gotten off at the US 98 exit right on the other side of town and taken 165 up. Or, well, not 165, but basically 98 alternate over to 165 and then work my way over. But I'm just going to go around the south end and then come up the other side to the Highway 98 interchange up there. Be a couple extra miles, but don't know why, I just don't like using the 98 alternate so much. We have here, Cooks something. Is that car hauler that I was trying to get a hold of earlier? Didn't have any lights on. His brake lights worked, but he didn't have any tail lights. I wouldn't be surprised if the cop put him out of service for that. There might actually be an accident there. Couldn't see any obvious damage, but I'm going to guess that that ambulance is on its way to where the car hauler and the other traffic was. No damage, no obvious signs of damage to anybody. Makes me think maybe someone else was involved that I didn't see. Perhaps it went off the side of the road or something. Just in case. So I see the two left lanes for I-10, which makes me wonder if this is going to split off over here in a second. Don't come through here enough to memorize how the lanes all split around here. Like the interchange I want's coming up pretty soon. Mile away, 65 north. This is what I want to take. Just up onto the northwest end of the Mobile area, and then I'll be getting on 98 from there. Around the other side of my trailer, but I think the only person behind is that one behind me. I see an exit only lane coming up, so moving my ass over. side of Mobile right here, and I see Audi, Porsche, and other not so low-end auto dealers in the area. Over there on the southbound off-ramp over there. 2 miles to US 98. Alright. Expect you to be over here, be ready. Don't want to get boxed out of my opportunity to exit when I need to. This problem. I don't really want to move over, but it's not going to be my best option here, especially my biggest concern there with moving over at that point is my exit's coming up, and I don't want people speeding up while I'm still in the act of passing them and preventing me from getting back over so I can get off at my exit. Barbecue ribs. We're just half a mile away from our Highway 98 exit. It's going to be a little more desolate on the way, most of the way, most of the remainder of this trip. Technically, you're not supposed to cross a solid white line. It's at least in California, there's nothing specifically in the vehicle code saying you can't. But it's basically DOT designed it so when you do see a solid white line, it's meant for you to not cross it. I can't speak for other states. I do know from other states, though, I mean, from at least my own state, that it's kind of a, I've got 2 Highway 98. Is this thing, or I don't know if it's a turn or just going straight through. Looks like it's a curve, so I do need to be in the outer lane. Solid white lines, you may or may not get an unsafe lane change ticket from a cop if they see you doing it. Now you do have ability to fight it, at least in California, and say there isn't anything specifically in the vehicle code saying that you cannot. And you might get different results, I don't know. But other states, I don't know the vehicle codes in every state though, so I don't know if other states have actual wording in there saying that you can, but best practice is if you see a solid white line, don't cross it. Or actually, a solid line of any kind, best to not cross. I guess this guy's not going to let me come over. guess I'll hang out here for now. Looks like this guy's starting to give pull away a little bit, so at least I can have the space I want in front of me. I'll be taking Highway 98 west to US 49 north, and then probably to US 84 west to get over to I-55. There is a state highway I can take also to get across to Hazelhurst, but if I have an option between the US highway and the state highway, I'm more often than not going to take the US highway first. I may take a look at my atlas. Maybe when I get to a stopping point and figure out if that state highway that does go across, if it's a truck route or not. Anytime it's a state highway, though, I'm a little more concerned that it could possibly not be a truck legal route. U.S. highways are far more likely to be truck routes than state highways are. But now there are some U.S. highways that are not truck legal, and there are plenty of state highways that are truck legal. So you never know. I mean, it really helps to have the atlas in that case and figure out what each state's rules are, and then what restricted roads it has, and what are designated truck routes. Surface streets, I usually go a little bit below the speed limit. So the speed limit here is 40. I tend to go about 35 or so because I don't like traffic lights turning red on me and making me have to lock my brakes up, whatever, to not run a red light. We can't stop as easily as cars can, so, and plus we usually have heavy loads that we're concerned about, so best practice, don't go the speed limit when you're near traffic lights. I find that doing about 5 miles an hour below the speed limit is usually just about right, where I have time to react, and that way if the light does change on me, I don't have to brake hard to not run the red light. I don't have a problem with doing a speed limit as long as I don't see, as long as I have the space I need, and as long as I don't see traffic lights in the area. But see, like I see a traffic light coming up pretty soon here, so I will probably bring my speed back down a little bit in a minute here. It looks like an area where I would expect that the speed limit would start going back up too. Well, 19. Okay, now yeah, this does look like I would expect to be 40-ish or so. So I might have a mile or two, whatever, before we get to an area where it might pick up. You look at the map and see how dense the cross streets are to get an idea of what the speed limit might possibly be. that's legal. I don't know. So you have to go straight through the intersection and make the right turn. No, I'm not sure that's legal. But I would be interested in finding out the truth on that one. I honestly don't know on that one. Pick up, get a little bit further in front of me before I. That's the word. This deadhead is a total of about 400 or so miles. I think I'll probably do like maybe 300 now since I'm already at almost about 250. I don't need to get all the way there. Plus, I think I will have to wait for a washout facility to open in the morning anyway before I can get my trailer washed out regardless. Not to mention, I just right on the edge of what I need to get there before until my recaps roll in, and I will definitely run out of hours before my recaps roll in. I got just over 3 hours left on my clock. It is almost 18:30. So I'm going to run out of hours by 21:30. So either way, I'll have to sit for about 2.5 hours regardless and wait for my recaps to roll in before I can continue anyway. I'll take a look. I got to figure out about this. My load info does say there's a particular wash facility that I can go to, and this shipper does require a washout receipt too, from what it looks like. But I don't know if that wash facility is open 24/7. If it is, I might just go ahead and wait for my recaps to roll in and then get moving and wash the trailer out and then go pick my load up and continue on, because I think I started my day around about 4 hours ago, so yeah, it's about 16 something, or wait, no, it's 1200, about 14, yeah, we'll have to 1400. Between 1400 and 1430, I guess, when I started my shift. And let's see, so add 14 hours of that. My 14 on an hour clock will expire at basically if you do 28, then minus 24, that puts me at 4 something, between 4 and 4:30 in the morning, which is good enough for me. It's around the time I like to finish my shift anyway. Usually by around that time the truck stops, at least some of the early bird solar power drivers are starting to get out on the road by then, and it's not as difficult to find a open spot to park in. In reality, I could even make it. I could set myself up for 8-2 splits by doing about maybe a 3-hour break. When I do shut down this evening, that gives me time to roll into my recaps. But I'll probably only do that if I can get the trailer washed out tonight. There's not a hell of a lot of places around this area of the U.S. where I can get a trailer washed out, and a lot of them are not open 24/7. So I wouldn't be surprised if I have to wait for morning to actually get my washout done. Detour ahead. What's going on here? They're all following too closely. Okay, so they give each other more space. Guaranteed you'll have an accident if the first person in that line has to slam the brakes down. Yes, now the speed limit went up to 55. I'll bet you this car that I want to go around is going to speed up. There. And back down to 45 we go. I'll have to take a look at Trucker Path also to see what kind of parking options I have. Got 3 hours left, so these kind of roads, I imagine I won't get any more than maybe 150 or so. Maybe a little more, I don't know. 210 is the max at 70 miles an hour though, but I'm not going to get that far. Then again, my shipper's not that far away anyway. I think, I'm not sure how many miles away they are from here. I want to say they were in the ballpark of 195 or so from the Mobile area, so I'd say it's about 180 or somewhere. 180 is, I'm going to take a wild guess from here. Even at 70 miles an hour, that's still going to take me more than 2.5 hours to get there, and I got 258. So, I'd say there's no real reason need to rush on this. Now it is a drop and hook pickup though, and like I did say before, I do always try to get to my shipper as soon as possible on drop and hook pickups, because I want to drop my empty just in case they need it for either for me or another company, another driver from our company. miles away. Let's see what that one's about. Nice. Yeah, that wasn't illegal. Just a touch of sarcasm there. Try this place. It is called a truck stop, even though it's supposed to be, there's a dirt lot. About 18 miles from here. Right. Unless it's just the fact they were coming up the hill and their lights were pointing upward because of it. It's always a possible cause too. Your brights are definitely on. See two sets of lights on your damn headlight thing there. Lucedale green light and 50 zone. I'm on alert now for his light to change. Turn signal. Piece of shit. Another example why it always pays to remain a safe distance behind people. away from this truck stop. Hopefully there'll be some parking available there. This will be the Chevron station on the other side of the trees. Looks like there's plenty of room there. At least from what I can tell. Yeah, drop trailer here, I think they can park by. Put it next to the drop trailer. Maybe next to this guy because I'm already pointing at him anyway. A little bit closer. Okay, this is why I'm watching my drive tires. I want them to get the right distance from this guy next to me. I already know where my tandems are. Camp out here for the next few hours. 7 p.m. now, or I'll have to find out if that truck wash is open first. If it's not open until morning, I will just shut down for 10 here. And we'll continue this later on.